Ground control to Major Tom.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
His is the worst voice.
How's he doing with that job, the one he started, or maybe the one he's been talking about for a while? He's got the tools and he knows what he needs. How's he doing with it? He's been on it a while, hasn't he? At least in his own mind. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Fantastic. When you're doing it yourself, you're nearer to God than when you're giving. We're moving. We exchanged yesterday. My wife hasn't been sat watching television one evening the last week without one of our 2 huge do-it-yourself manuals spread across her thighs. And the reason for this is because she can just dream about the finished product when we get in wherever we're going, and the spare bedroom can be made to look like whatever she wants it to look like in her dream. I never touch the do-it-yourself manuals in our house because they speak to me of jobs that must be done. And of course, from time to time, I have a go. Free call 0500 1053 89. Doing it yourself is fantastic. Isn't it, sir or madam? Again, free call 0500 1053 89. More men cook now than ever before. And more men arrange flowers, and more women mow the lawn. The gender divide, that fence is coming down. Are the women of Britain beginning to get handy with the power tools? Do women of Britain know how to put up a flat-back wardrobe without it turning into a parallelogram? Free call 0500 1053 89. To experience the thrill of building something, making something, creating something from nothing within a fairly straightforward set of parameters. There's nothing quite like it. When you're doing it yourself, that simple, fundamental expression of self-sufficiency is just taking you about as close to Mother Nature and God himself as anything you can think of. And I flooded the house once. I did. I thought it only happened in cartoons, but I did put a masonry nail through a central heating pipe. It was great. It was about 5:15 on a Saturday afternoon. If there's a bad time to do it, that's the time to do it. Jane went down to the hardware store and managed to get some of this American stuff, which is some sort of special plastic weld, it's called, but that didn't work, and a man eventually came at 8:30 in the evening. He got there and he fixed it, and it was great. And all I was trying to do was to actually, if I remember rightly, straighten the cupboard under the stairs door by straightening the bit of wood that the cupboard under the stairs door actually closed against. So I thought I'd use a masonry nail rather than a screw and a rawl plug. Free call 0500 1053 89. And tell me about the time you electrocuted yourself. We've all done it once. Great DIY men. The nation's, the world's greatest men have all been handy around the home. I was reading a piece in Monday's paper about how Jimmy Carter, perhaps the greatest world statesman American politics has seen in this half of the 20th century, and do you know his pride and joy, as we speak, is doing his windows? And then there's Paddy Ashdown, who, when asked what was his greatest achievement over the last 30 years since he left the services, he replied, not the Lib Lab pack, nothing like that. He replied, building a dry stone wall at the bottom of my cottage garden. Free call 0500 1053 89. The 20th century is peppered. The history of mankind is peppered with great do-it-yourself men. John DeLorean, Gandhi, who span his own loincloth. True, Jesus himself was known for one thing of this earth, and that was his carpentry skills. Me, God himself, who made the earth in 7 days. If that isn't the ultimate do-it-yourself disaster, I'd like to know what is. Look at the best in children's toys. They are all would-be do-it-yourself toys. Children paint when they're little. Children use building blocks, don't they, when they're little. Children buy carpentry sets when they're little, setting them up for a life lived in the fast lane, which is the lane down from the paints and one up from the tools in your local out-of-town hardware store. Free call 0500 1053 89. Doing it yourself. Nearer to God than giving. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. there's a good argument for listening.
Cutting edge.
Tommy Boyd sucks less.
You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
Thank you. Paul calls from Coventry. You're on Talk Radio. Paul, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Tommy.
Paul.
I've just started DIY for the very first time.
Fantastic. What are you doing?
At the moment, I'm wallpapering the bathroom.
Good for you.
Just at that awkward bit in the corner, you know, where the tiles have a funny shape and you've got to cut out round the pelmet and so on and so forth.
Yeah, got any bubbles?
No, I'm doing all right so far.
Oh, right. Wrinkles?
Yeah, one or two. Anything you can do about them?
The wrinkles? Just slit them with a razor blade.
Right.
And sort of squeeze them together.
Oh, I could do that, yeah.
Yeah, not a problem. What
Yeah.
colour is it?
Well, the bathroom's pink.
Lovely. Your idea?
Well, it was kind of forced upon me. The council give you, when you move in around this neck of the woods, you get a certain allocation of points that you can spend at the council stores.
Yeah.
And they've only got a limited number of wallpapers, and the only one that really looked like a bathroom wallpaper was pink, and so that was my option.
So the council made you paint your Coventry bathroom pink?
Near enough.
Fascinating. What next? Because you've done the bathroom, you're not going to stop there, are you?
No, it'll be the hall after the bathroom.
Marvellous. What are you going to do in there?
Well, I've got some nice red wallpaper.
Excellent.
I've got some stripes at the top and some plain at the bottom, and I'm going to put a border in between.
Sounds gorgeous.
It doesn't sound too bad, does it? I've painted all the doors already. They're a lovely deep shade of red.
Ah, you're a convert, aren't you?
I certainly am, yeah, and it's growing on me, I must say. I mean, it's going to be one of those sit back and go, oh, wow, when it's finished. I'm not going to believe that I've done all this.
And you know what's going to happen? You're going to finish the house and you're going to want to move.
Probably.
Because you're going to want to do it all over again.
Chances are.
It's an obsession.
Yeah, I can see it becoming addictive, definitely.
But you're a happy man.
At the moment.
And you're off the streets.
Yes, you could put it that way.
Oh, thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
There is a man nearer to God than when he is giving. He's doing it himself. Paul calls from from Portsmouth. Paul, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Tom.
Paul.
Electrocuted myself.
Did you? Excellent. What happened?
Top man. Had to put some wires for a panelling, for wooden panelling, run the wires, sorted all that out, realised I wanted the drill to drill the hole to put the wires through. Late at night, kids next door going to bed, sort of like get it done quick, turn the power on, take the wires on the wall, drilled the hole, then thought, wonder whether the wires fit through the hole, and grabbed hold of them, went straight through the living room window.
I'll bet you did.
Yeah.
When was this?
Oh, it was about 6 years ago, I think.
We never forget, do we? Every time I've done it twice.
Nah, never touch them again.
It's a great feeling, isn't it, in a funny sort of way?
It is, yeah.
It really brings you alive.
Oh, yeah. Afterwards, when your heart stopped pounding about 300 miles an hour, you think sort of, wow, you know? That's the old song, I wish I could fly.
What noise did you make when you took 240 volts then?
It was sort of like a... Yeah!
Go on, do it for real. Put the phone down and give us it for real so that we can hear it.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Excellent.
Yeah!
Yeah, you do.
That was it.
The last time I did it, I went... Ah! Like that.
Yeah.
It was a short one.
And your fingers stayed black for weeks.
No, I didn't get that, but I did feel woozy for a couple of days.
Yeah, you
tired.
You don't feel right. So then I had, like, no power, hole in my living room window.
Marvellous.
Glass everywhere.
Hey, but did it put you off DIY?
It didn't put me off DIY.
No.
It put me off electrics.
The only thing that puts us off DIY is complete death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it up, Paul.
And but one quick word, Tom.
Sure.
Why do these major DIY shops employ donuts?
Yeah, I know.
When you go in there and ask you something, they just look at you.
Well, I prefer that to the old-style hardware stores, which were staffed by old men in brown coats. Do you remember those?
Yeah, we got a couple around here now.
Because you go in there and it doesn't matter what you want, they will try to make you look stupid.
Oh, yeah, they tell you the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you go up to the big ones. I went out there once and asked for some black Japan screws.
Yeah.
And the bloke went away and asked his boss, and his boss come back and said, what were these screws from Japan?
Yeah.
And, lost it. Absolutely lost it. Mind-boggling. I don't even know what they got half the time in these shops.
What is a Japan screw, then?
Black Japan screw?
Yeah,
well, you use it outside, it doesn't rust.
Why are they called Japan, then?
Because that's what's put on them. They're actually been...
Right, the substance.
Yeah, the substance that's put on them.
Japani, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Paul.
I said this to the bloke, and he went away, and he come back, and he said, no, we got no screws from Japan. So I said, fine.
Paul, thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We are celebrating doing it yourself. DIY. Because the alternative is to pay some useless cowboy outfit. And DIY is better than PSU. Psycho. David calls from Telford. You're on Talk Radio. David, good afternoon. David.
Tommy, I have to confess that being somewhat academic and artistically inclined, I'm useless at DIY, and I do admire them. If everyone wanted to wish to be opposite, I do.
Who puts the screws in your house then?
Well, my wife up to a point.
Does she?
She's actually gone and tarpaulin the roof and everything.
Has
she's
she?
a dainty little woman, 7 stone-ish, and she's got up there and done a better job than the guys that originally tried to do it.
Tarpauling the house roof?
Yeah, the flat roof, you know. The flat. Yeah.
Your wife's done it?
Yes.
Fantastic.
She is. She's great.
And has she sealed it properly?
Yes. Better than they did it. They actually messed it up.
Fantastic.
She's done the garden shed as well. She's absolutely wonderful, but it's just as well, because I'm useless. You know, they say that Christ was a carpenter.
Yes, they do.
Well, maybe he wasn't, but I can understand why the story has come about, because there is something godlike about it, and all my artistic attainments or attempts have been a failure compared to seeing that wonderfully quiet work of a practical person doing their own DIY.
Profound words, man.
I envy them.
Profound words.
Thank you.
Profound words. If he was a carpenter, I wonder what he specialised in.
Well,
because they only really had beds, didn't they, in those days? Chests?
Well, I actually saw a film once, believe it or not. I think it was by that Marxist Italian filmmaker. Of course, that obviously means problems straight away, where he made crosses.
Who? Christ made crosses?
Yeah. I mean, that was an interpretation by that...
the irony not lost on the
Paolo
cinema goer there.
Pasolini or someone. Yeah. Well, I don't know what he would have made, but I think, he would have made, nice little things like little chairs and things at the tables that they would have. But I really am serious. I'm not joking. I think I look at these people and I've always admired them.
You wish you were handy. David, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Nice man. Drew calls from the Isle of Wight. You're on Talk Radio. Drew.
Hello there.
Drew.
Hello?
Hello.
I think your program's absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying it like mad, but I never, ever do DIY.
Why not?
Well, why do something badly yourself when you can pay someone to do it well?
Well, there has to be some sort of a cut-off point in that philosophy, doesn't there?
Well, no, I mean, I'd loathe the idea of painting a room. I'd find it totally boring. So why not do something that you really enjoy, earn some money, and pay somebody who enjoys painting to do it for you?
Well, I can see the economics of that argument, but
I've got Dell downstairs painting the room for a reasonable sum, doing a very good job. I worked for 4 days doing what I do well, and they'll paint the whole house for me. It would have taken me a month of Sundays.
But you must have some other outlet for your creative urges.
Oh, yes.
Surely. How do you feed your libido?
I don't have a libido. I put that aside. I'm 55.
No, I don't know. That's a mistake, a common mistake. I'm not referring to your sexuality when I talk of the libido. I'm talking of the creative urge, which is the libido.
I write.
There. So you don't read novels, you write them?
Yes.
A do-it-yourself novelist?
Yes.
Yes.
But that's what I do well. If I tried to put up a shelf, I'd fail at it.
What are you writing at the moment?
I'm trying to finish off an article that I've been commissioned to do for a magazine.
Have you? What about?
I don't think it's something you'd want to discuss on the programme.
Oh, now it is. What?
Are you sure you really want me to say?
Well, I've got 7 seconds to decide if it's got to go out. Go on.
It's an article on paedophilia.
Oh, understood.
So perhaps you would want to cut me off on that point.
No, certainly not. No, certainly not. But as a matter of interest, which magazine are you writing it for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Understood. Right. Oh, well, in that case, we won't get to read it, will we? I'm sure it'll be worth reading, but we'll have to...
Well, I hope so. I think it'll be a useful article. But this is something I do well.
I'm sure.
Painting a room, I would be a disaster at.
Yes.
And also, I'm creating employment for somebody else.
Yes.
And I think that's quite important.
Yes, I suppose it is. I'm sorry, I'm back to where you were in the magazine article. I can't get past that thought, really. But if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. That's your privilege.
No, it's not an appropriate programme for that kind of discussion.
Understood entirely. Although, like any conversation, we are, organic.
Yes, but it wouldn't be appropriate for your programme at all.
Whatever you say. Thanks for your call.
And thanks for your programme. It's great fun.
It's all right, isn't it? Free call 0500 1053 89. We're discussing doing it yourself. When you are doing it yourself, that is as close as you can get to the perfect life. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. We're celebrating Do It Yourself. John calls from Shrewsbury. You're on Talk Radio. John, good afternoon.
Tommy.
John.
Good afternoon.
Sir.
Right, I've just finished the final coat of varnish on my front door.
You, sir, are nearer to God than I.
Well, I feel it.
Good for you.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Did you wood stain it?
Well, no, in actual fact, I've taken 2 weeks off work
to do your front door?
To decorate.
Fantastic.
Right,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're not going away. I thought we'll spend the money in the house.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've done the front. I've got to the front door. It's a very old house, very old door, very old paint.
Yeah.
Right now, so I stripped it right back to the paint, to the wood, but it wasn't very nice underneath. Somebody had put polyfiller in it, and so unfortunately, I couldn't leave the door as it was. But my wife said, "Look, get burgundy." So I've done it in burgundy gloss, and I put all the brass on it. And then went out and bought the varnish, the gloss varnish, and I've just this minute, when you announced saying the next hour is going to be DIY, I just finished putting the final brush of varnish on it, and it's gleaming.
Well, glad to have touched base with your wonderful life, John.
It's
and
beautiful.
Congratulations.
But the wonderful thing about it is that I've been outside doing this for the last 5 days, and everybody walking past, commenting, saying, "Oh, that looks lovely."
Yeah.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Absolutely. And you and that front door, which is the window into your home and your soul, you know, you will always cherish your first glimpse of it, whether you're coming home from a month in Africa or from popping around the corner to pick up a packet of polos. John, well done.
I can't drive away without looking back.
No! Congratulations. You know what life's all about.
I do.
That's exactly what it says on the tin. Listen to me. I have news. This show, as you know, has two big themes, one of which is transport. And we are proud that the world's #1 express carrier, DHL, has invested in this show's commitment to a cleaner, safer, swifter, happier world. But now, listen to me. You know there's an edge to every friendship. Well, this is where you come in. Because DHL are the world's #1 express carrier. And they tell us that they can dispatch just about anything, anywhere, quickest. So, please, help me with my little DHL Global Challenge. Right? What I want to do is to ask them to deliver something, well, unusual, or something that has to be delivered anyway, to somewhere either difficult or strange, to somebody either close or far away from you, or maybe, as I say, something that has to be delivered anyway to somebody who has to receive it, so that we can see how they do. Have you, for example, got a friend or a relative who's stuck in the middle of nowhere, all for want of a particular document, or maybe even just, a car part? Its spark plugs have gone, and the car needs some fresh ones. And the only way to get them out there is to use, say, DHL. I'll give you the details of how you can have a go at this in just a second. It's either a fax or a write, so grab a pen. I'd love you to help me with the Global Challenge, we're calling it. Have you got neighbours whose 3-year-old, they've gone on holiday and they're in Spain, say, but you found out that the 3-year-old can't sleep because she left her favourite teddy bear at home, not thinking she'd need it? That kind of thing. Or maybe you've got a distant cousin who lives in Alice Springs who's about to become a distant uncle, right? And what that person actually needs is a photograph of the baby, which is about to be born, and a cigar to celebrate it with, okay? So challenge DHL to collect and deliver safe and sound and swift, and what we'll do is put a clock on it, and we'll see just how good the world's #1 express carrier is. Fax or write, with some sort of details of the kind of challenge that you'd like to set, what you'd like to send, and kind of where you'd like it to go, and who's got to get it, and why it needs to go off pretty pronto-ish. The address is DHL Global Challenge, Talk Radio, P.O. Box 1089, London W1A 1PP, and I'll repeat it again in just a second because I know that was too fast. The fax number is the same one that you regularly hear, 0541 59 69 79, and that address again, DHL Global Challenge, Talk Radio, P.O. Box 1089 1089, London W1A 1PP. Glyn calls now from Bangor to join in our celebrations of Do It Yourself. You're on Talk Radio. Glyn.
Hello, Tommy.
Glyn.
I'm the original Blunderman.
One of many, I'm sure. What have you cocked up lately?
Well, at the moment I'm building a staircase going up to the attic. I haven't made any cock-ups at the moment.
That's brave, a staircase, man.
I've done lots of things in my time. When I was younger, I was wallpapering the ceiling. And the wallpaper kept following me. You know what I mean, don't you? When it falls down behind you.
Yeah.
And about the 10th time I happened to punch the wall in temper.
Went through.
Broke my knuckle.
Broke your knuckle?
Yeah.
Even better.
Had it in plaster. That evening I was putting up wall boards. The same evening. And of course I couldn't saw it with my hand in a plaster. So I used a circular saw to saw one of these thin wall boards.
And?
But the circular saw crossed my hand and up my wrist. 26 stitches.
26 stitches?
The same casualty department.
Front of your wrist?
Yeah, right across my hand.
The bit with that vein in it?
Oh, no, the top bat.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Unfortunately, yeah. I've tried to put a felt roof on and burnt myself. Covered, the black stuff you put on the roof.
Yep.
I've had that up my arms, over my face. I've had myself thrown across the room with a electric shock.
Oh, great. What noise did you make when you got a shock?
It was more of a high-pitched scream, really.
Let's hear it. Fantastic. You're pretty good, Glyn.
Yeah, I built a kitchen extension.
Yeah.
But the bricks are plastered, electrics. I'm good at DIY.
Mm-hmm.
But I always have an accident. My wife won't stay in the house when I'm doing something.
Glyn, thank you for your call. Just one reprise, please. Your shriek when you got electrocuted.
You ready?
Yeah. Marion calls now from Nottingham. You're on Talk Radio, Marion. Hello.
My husband's too lazy, Tommy. I have to do it all myself.
What are you up to at the moment, then?
Well, I've come home early. I've come home early to do some work, actually, because I'm an accountant. But this year I've tiled the kitchen, I've wallpapered, I've painted, I've stripped a table. I've made a box for my electric fuses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's pretty good.
Wait, you've made a box for your electric fuses?
Well, it's for the fuse box on the wall,
Yeah,
made a wooden box for it.
You made a wooden box?
I did, yes.
Well, how have you joined the wood? Dovetail or dowel?
I think it's a Marion cock-up job, actually. But
have you used those little thin pins?
Well,
you have, haven't you? You have?
Well, I've just used kind of blocks of wood in the corner. It looks all right from the outside.
Where did you get the wood to make your fuse box?
From the DIY shop.
What sort of wood is it?
It's kind of I don't know these things. It's just kind of very thin wood, like plyboard type thing.
Is it, though? Is it?
Well, it's not oak.
Is it a composite? Or is it pine?
It's just wood,
You went in and you said, I want some wood.
No, I just picked it out myself.
You didn't ask anybody? Yes.
Measured it all up and did it myself.
And what sort of a saw did you use to saw it to the right shapes and sizes?
Well, I used a little hacksaw.
Yeah.
And then I used one of those electric, not a chainsaw, the little ones,
yes.
Jigsaw.
Now, I'm going to ask you a very serious question now. Marion.
Yes.
There's a $64,000 question there.
Go on, then.
Right. You are an accountant, aren't you, by trade?
Yes.
But in your heart of hearts, you are already, are you not, a DIY obsessive?
I must be.
You love it, don't you?
I do love
You're converted, you love it.
I do love it, yes.
Have you been looking at the skirting boards in your home and thinking to yourself what you could do with them?
No, but I've been looking at my stairs and I'm going to put a new staircase in.
You're not.
I am.
You're not.
I am.
How far have you taken it? Have you looked at stair rails yet?
Yes, I have.
Have you
I've priced them up.
Hey!
And I've figured out how to put it on. I've read all the books.
Knockout.
I don't know how safe it's going to be when I put it up. But my tiling looks good.
I bet it does. Tiling is very satisfying, isn't it? Especially grouting.
Oh, no, it's horrid. It gives me a neck ache.
What, tiling?
Grouting.
No, grouting's great because it takes 2 minutes flat. You just spoon it on and sponge it across and bob's your
uncle. Is that right? I think it took me ages.
You're not...
the weekends, you see.
You're not spooning the grout individually into each crack, are you?
No. It just took so long to wipe off, But it looks good now. I'm going to tile the bathroom as well.
That's great. What does your husband think about the fact that you've completely emasculated him in this way?
Well, I don't think he cares much. He's a house husband anyway, so he doesn't really care.
No. Can he do anything? Is he good for anything?
Oh, he's a fantastic father.
Oh, well, that's skill enough, isn't it?
Well, that's the best job in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the best job to look after your children properly.
True enough, Marion.
So he's gone to fetch the children now from
You see how much wisdom your enthusiasm for do-it-yourself has visited you with?
Where's that then?
Well, I don't know, you just stink of it, really. It's not being an accountant that's giving you such depth, is it?
Oh, no.
No, exactly.
We're very shallow people, accountants.
You said it.
Not to mention boring.
You said it.
I get told this all the time.
But not when you're talking about DIY. Good luck with that staircase.
Thank you.
The original staircase to heaven.
Nice to speak to you, Tommy.
Thank you for your call.
Bye now.
You are nearer to God when you're doing it yourself than when you're giving. Bill calls from Lincolnshire. You're on Talk Radio. Bill.
Tommy, I hate decorating with my wife.
Oh, yes.
If we're doing a project and I like to take my time, think about it, plan it, and I've got the result that I want to achieve in my mind.
Yeah.
But with her, it's let's splash a bit of paint on.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah, and there's always an argument.
Oh, the last time we did a bit of wallpapering, we're talking we nearly divorced. It was horrendous.
Do you know what? I wish somebody would take these advertisements to the Advertising Standards Authority. You constantly see these young couples who've just moved into a gigantic mansion flat, and she's in a pair of jeans and no shoes, and the jeans are rolled up halfway up her calf.
Yeah.
And they're splashing a bit of paint here and there and having a jolly good laugh as they move in.
What's worse is when you with these DIY programs where it takes them a couple of days to achieve this really fantastic result.
Yeah.
You try and do it on your own, it takes you ages, and then she gives you earache because it's taking longer to do it than they did on the telly.
You just got to have them out of the house, really. You cannot sustain a happy relationship if it's got to go through do-it-yourself together.
I've sworn that I'll never, ever decorate with her again. Never.
They even use it as a symbol for their true love in, what was that film? Educating Rita. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
You know? They flash back to when Rita and what's-his-face were happy lovers. And they're doing it themselves.
Yeah,
I know. He's painting her face and stuff.
Or, you're exercising your conjugal rights.
Exactly, Bill.
And then she says, can you paint the roof or...
he's drifting a bit here, Bill. He's caught up in the wind of his own enthusiasm, but we'll leave him with that. Thank you for your call, Bill boy. To Hull, Jane is our next caller. You're on Talk Radio. Jane, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm just wondering how many of these great DIY men actually tidy up properly after themselves.
What? They all do.
Oh, yeah, right.
Don't they?
Well, mine certainly doesn't.
Don't they all put down dust sheets first?
What's a dust sheet?
Aren't they all handy with a dust pan and brush?
Where do you keep that?
Do you know that in a survey, 67% of men didn't know the colour of their vacuum cleaner when asked?
Mine doesn't know where the dusters are kept, anything.
It's a powerful point. On the other hand, it's a fair old trade-off, isn't it? We do it ourselves and you tidy up afterwards. That's fair, isn't it? It's like one does the cooking and the other one does the washing up.
No. What washing up? He doesn't do that either. He's a good cook, but he certainly doesn't tidy up after himself, even when he's cooking.
Yes, your agenda is thinly shrouded, woman. You've married a wrong one, haven't you? It's as simple as that. That's what you're here to tell us. You made a mistake.
No.
You're repenting at leisure.
No, he does do a good job when he does it.
What's the last thing he did?
What's the last thing he did?
Yeah.
We decorated the front room a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, decorating's not really doing it yourself, is it? I mean, doing it yourself is actually sort of like repointing the chimney.
Well, he's done quite a few things. He's laid the electrics in the last house we had.
Has he ever? Oh, has he? And was he electrocuted while he did that?
No, he wasn't.
No.
No, he's one of these, reads manuals, reads 6 manuals and makes sure he knows exactly what he's doing before he touches it.
Does he ever come down spitting blood because he's cross because something doesn't appear to fit?
I wouldn't know. I go out of the house when he's doing it.
You see, your marriage will last forever. Thank you for your call.
No problem.
Yeah, she knows. Brian calls from Swindon. You're on Talk Radio, Brian. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Brian.
Do you know what really gets up my nose?
No.
These American DIY programs that you get on Discovery Channel.
Fantastic,
in the morning.
They?
Now, Steve and Norm, or whoever they are, they've got about 100 grand's worth of equipment in their workshop, biscuit cutters, mortising machines, dado cutters. They use beautiful bits of hardwood that you give your IT for. They make things that fit perfectly, and at the end they say, you can do this at home.
Yeah.
And you can't.
They've got all that stuff, and, Brian, they've got buckets of enthusiasm for what they're doing.
Yeah, they never make a mistake.
All their tools are great.
Yeah. You try and do that with a Black & Decker jigsaw.
Yes, I know. We do, don't we?
We do.
We do.
I don't know, I watch it. It really upsets me. I like the furniture they make, but...
I sometimes watch the those fantastic salesmen they have who could sell you anything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they always set fire to the bonnet of a car. Doesn't matter what they're selling, they set fire to the bonnet of a car, and the studio audience go, as if they think the car's going to be blackened.
Yeah,
they know.
I know. It's wonderful, isn't it?
And the multi-purpose products they sell as well are great. They sell knives, which can also be used as dusters.
That's it.
And stuff.
That's the stuff.
Turn it over and you've got a multi-purpose duster. Turn it over again and you've got a nuclear device. Turn it over again and hey presto, it's a kitchen knife once more. Fantastic. Brian, thank you for your call.
Okay, Tommy.
Yo.
Cheers.
Here's Steve calling from Hayes. Steve, you're on Talk Radio. We're celebrating. Do it yourself.
Yeah, hello, mate.
Yeah.
If
Hello,
you
mate.
can burst the pipe, I can do it better than you.
What happened to you?
Oh, mate, I'm putting a new kitchen in.
Yeah.
And I knocked a wall out.
Yeah.
An old larder wall. And at the back of it, there's these two radiator pipes coming down through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Right down to the floor.
Wonderful.
So I've knocked the wall out. I've got the two pipes hanging there. Got rubble all over the place, dirt and dust. Got 4 kids running around. I've told them all to stay out of the way because anyone breaks it, I'm going to do me nut.
Do me nut.
Right, what do I do? I step back, step on the first pipe, snap. Off it goes, water everywhere. Right? Lucky enough, I've got a plumber living next to me. He's only been in here a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, quick, go around, get Ken round here. And he's come running, man, what have you done? So he said, oh, no. He said, I've got my tools with me, none of this, none of that. Drives down to B&Q's, which is literally 5 minutes up the road. We bought a pack of these stop ends, what you can just literally push them on.
Right.
Yeah. So they do them in packs of 1s and 2s, and fortunately for me, I bought 2, the pack of 2.
Because
when I got back, he capped that pipe, and he said to me, what I'll do, I'll go up in the roof, right, and he said, I'll cap them off at the ceiling for you, so you ain't got them showing through. So we've gone up, done that. When he's gone back next door, I thought I'll put the floorboard back. So instead of using the original nail holes where they were, I thought I'll be a bit clever and I'll make a new one. So I whacked the nail in straight through the pipe again, innit? And of course he's had to come running back round.
I'm delighted to have the opportunity to just share my experience of going right through the floorboard and into a nail with another man who's done the same thing.
Oh, mate, this was straight in one side and out the other side.
Because it goes in, doesn't it? And then you hammer and it goes through the wood, and then the next hammer goes through the pipe. You can tell something's wrong.
I'll tell you what, I heard this noise, right? When I thought, what's that noise?
Yeah.
So I could see the wife through the gap down in the kitchen. I said, what's that noise? It's like a funny noise. I thought she was telling me to be quiet something. And then she said, no, she said, there's a load of water coming down. So I quickly poured it up, and there's water going everywhere. Absolute nightmare. And that's what it does, mate, when you do DIY by yourself.
Steve, thanks for your call. Roy in Cardiff, you're next. You're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Tommy.
Roy.
Hi. I just found a statement you made earlier on about doing DIY closer to God. And I found that experience was pretty apt to me, really, because I've gone in... Stairs in my house are what you call they come down into the lounge, you know, and I decided I was going to varnish them. So I started varnishing, and I was 3/4 of the way up when I realised, how the hell am I going to get back down? And I had to stay upstairs throughout 2.5 hours until someone come home and managed to put a ladder up to the wall so I could actually climb across and get down again. And I was stuck up there for 2 hours, so yeah, I was closer to God.
2 hours closer to God. Roy? Plonker, thank you for your call.
Okay, bye.
Free call 0500 10 53 89 as we turn our attention to motoring. Who is the biggest menace on the road? I'll tell you, and what we should do about them.
DHL will...
So, who is the biggest menace on the road? Is it the speed merchant? No. Is it those juggernauts? No. Is it those sales reps? Not even them. No. The biggest menace on the road are stood stock still on the road. It's where they're stood stock still that's the problem. The biggest menace on the road today is lousy parkers. Lousy parkers who park where they want, who park on double yellows because they're only going to be there for 5 minutes, who double park because they're only going to be there for 5 minutes, or who park where they want, when they want, for however long they want, because they think they'll get away with it, or because they think they're that important. Now, free call 0500 10 53 89. Until now, we've either given them a ticket, or we've clamped them, or we've towed them. But that doesn't work, so we've got to come up with something better. Can you do anything better than this? We don't just tow their cars away, we keep them. We keep them. We keep them for, shall we say, 3 months. And I'm the first to agree that this idea needs a little work. So if you've got your thinking cap on, free call 0500 10 53 89. We take their car away from where it shouldn't be in the first place. They can't argue with that. And since they have penalised so many people with their lousy parking, we penalise them by keeping their car for 3 months and renting it out. Yes, renting it out. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's time to confiscate badly parked cars and rent them out. Rent them out at a reasonable rate. Rent out that battered Fiesta. Rent out that gleaming Alfa Romeo, obviously at variable rates. Let a sales rep rent it for 3 months. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Better than a ticket. Better than a clamp. Better than towing it away, so you've got to go to a pound and collect it after you've paid 50 quid. The sheer fear that will be induced by the knowledge that somebody else is using your car is going to be surely the best deterrent that any lousy parker could ever consider. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Next time you park your car badly, you won't. If you think to yourself that for the next 3 months somebody else is going to be driving around in it at a rock bottom price of, shall we say, will you tell me, £25 a week, depending on the car? It'll be a tremendous boost to the economy because that extra revenue will be put back into the quality of our roads, and it will act, finally, as something we need, which is a proper deterrent against lousy parkers. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Doorstep to Dawsbury.
Calls from Cambridgeshire. You're on Talk Radio. Pam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I don't agree with you.
Sorry, which bit?
The parking bit. They're not the worst menace on the road.
Who is?
The worst menaces on the road, I don't want to be ageist, are people usually over 65 that buy a brand new car in August, usually something huge like a 2-litre Sierra Sapphire, and then proceed to travel everywhere at 20 miles an hour.
You're just not doing the work, and this is prejudice. What are we going to do about people who don't know how to park sensibly or considerately, Pam?
Confiscate their cars for 6 months. Don't let them drive, let them use public transport.
But that's what I'm saying.
But they're not the way you said they were worst menaces on the road, and they're not. The worst menaces are people with huge cars that are frightened of them. They don't indicate, they're indecisive, you don't know which way they're going to go, they're a blooming danger.
Right, but when we turn our attention to the problem of lousy parkers, Pam, you agree with everything I'm saying?
No, because you're a man, so I can't.
Dean calls from Leeds. Dean, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. I'm afraid your theory doesn't work.
Because?
Can you tell me, obviously if the cars are towed away for 3 months and you rent them out, what happens to the car if the person who rents it then double parks?
Well, obviously it gets confiscated again.
For how long, Tommy? And is that the fault of the initial owner who first...
No, it's only deprived. The owner of the car who has badly parked in the first place is only deprived of the use of his or her car for 3 months.
Right.
Yes. So the car goes back to the pound and then can be rented out again.
And again, possibly... So therefore, wouldn't somebody who illegally parks all the time actually rent vehicles out and, again, double park them?
Well, the problem is, you see, that people who rent and hire cars tend to be a little bit less courteous than everybody else because they know it's not their car.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is what I'm basically saying.
All I'm saying is that we need a little bit of this action. We need some of the dough that's in circulation in the hire car business coming back into the country so that we can improve our transport infrastructure.
If you say so, Tommy.
I do. Dead in the water. Didn't stand a chance. Go on, you can take me on if you want. Margaret calls from Sussex. You're on Talk Radio, Margaret.
Hello, Tommy. I was just going to say the worst people are the ones, who put the flashes on outside the bank. Well, what you could do is take the car keys out, put them down the nearest drain, and wait for the police to come and pick them up.
You'd love it, wouldn't you?
I would love it.
Yeah.
Especially when they see the flashes, you know.
Yeah.
I'm in charge, especially outside, I'm just nipping in. Everybody else can drive on, but no, they're nipping in, and it's putting the car keys down the drain.
I think all of us, at some time or another, in the course of an average driving day, wish serious ill would befall other motorists.
I'll tell you another thing that happened to us today.
Yes?
We're driving out of a side road, and there's not a great deal of vision, but just enough. So we're driving out, just coming out, and the car that came into view was travelling along at shoosh, and sort of didn't give us, as much time as we should have had to come out. And as he passed us on the inside, he said a bad word. He opened his mouth and shouted at us, and he was reasonably up to the clappers.
Yes.
Okay then.
Thank you for your call.
Bye.
What was the word?
Oh, I can't say it was bad.
Well, how bad? How many letters did it have?
It was to do with your lower region.
Understood. Thank you for that. I just remember a Joan Rivers remark when she found out that the comedian Dave Allen had an accident and he'd lost his middle finger. She said to him, "Oh, how do you drive?" Ian calls from Bristol. You're on Talk Radio. Ian, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Ian.
I'd just like to say that your idea may come across, or may be illegal, under the Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights?
Yeah, 1688, which is dated 1689, because they changed the dates, didn't they? It says that grants and provinces of fines and forfeitures of particular persons before conviction are illegal and void.
Let's go back.
Therefore, you have to go to court to be fined and have your property taken away from you.
Right, hang on a second. Let's not get too interesting here. What is that basically saying? That you can't confiscate something that...
Before your property is taken away from you, you have to go to court and be judged by a magistrate or your peers, by a jury.
Well, but do the people who tow illegally parked cars away at the moment know this?
I don't know. And
Are they breaking the Bill of Rights?
Get across.
Are they breaking the Bill of Rights?
Yes.
No, they're not.
Yes, it clearly states that grants of promises and fines
Don't say it again.
before conviction are illegal.
He's going to say it again.
It's there, it's in black and white, and it's a Bill of Rights, it's an Act of Parliament, and it is the law.
Yes, but it's the law where I live that you will be executed if you make a Roman soldier step into the gutter.
But is that still on the statute book?
Yes, of course it is.
This runs Parliament.
You can still be hanged in London if you steal a handkerchief. You see what I'm saying? There's hundreds of laws that we don't bother with anymore. It's just that there's people like you who know them.
I know them, and if it's the principle of British law, then I think it should be upheld.
Why? It doesn't work. If something doesn't work, you've got to change it. You've got to mend it. And where do you live? In Bristol?
I live in Bristol.
Are you trying to tell us
tow
that people...
cars away. I feel that if you're going to take your property away, that you ought to go to court. I feel there ought to be law courts and magistrates available on the day. If you're illegally parked, it shouldn't take too long. And if the courts are going to do it, then it's got to be done as the court system.
Ian is a very dull and impractical man, but he does know the Bill of Rights. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Derek calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Derek.
Hello, yes. Tommy, yes.
Derek.
Yes, Tommy, yeah. I don't agree with you.
You do?
I don't agree with you, no.
Why?
Well, I'm a plumber, all right, and I actually work in London.
Yeah?
And I find it difficult enough now to park.
Yeah?
I mean, it costs me around about £18 a day to park on a metre. All right, then I've got to keep moving my van around.
Yeah?
Okay, also, if I want to go and park in someone's residence bay, I've got to move it. I can't even unload my gear.
Yeah?
It's just a nightmare. So if you say you're parking in an awkward place, okay, residence parking bay or somewhere, or a single yellow line, which I have to do to unload my gear,
Yeah?
you say take my van away.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
I can't work.
That's right, that's what we'll do.
How's that fair?
Well, because what you have to do is put your costs up. You should have thought of this in the first place.
What do you mean?
Push your costs up so that the people who call you out and have you do this so-called necessary work, right, are going to defray some of your overheads. That's reasonable. That's how everybody works. You work out what it costs you to do your job, and then you add a percentage.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is,
Yes.
I have to park on the yellow line sometimes to take my gear in.
Do not have to park on a double yellow
What do
line.
you expect me to do then? Car all me tools from sort of 2 mile away?
Obviously, and not 2 miles away.
Oh,
Wait.
you're having a laugh.
I'm not having a
You've
laugh.
got to get in a real well, pal.
Not at all. All you need is a pal, and you can shift it out onto the pavement. I mean, unloading is one thing. Parking on a double yellow line.
Also, another situation, okay, I do work a lot in sort of some of the muses, all right, and they've got yellow lines right throughout the muse. Okay, now why the hell can't I park in a muse and do work in that house? Who goes down a muse? It's a block turning, most of them.
Well, it doesn't matter. If you're not supposed to park there, you're not supposed to park there.
The laws are making it very, very difficult for people to actually work in London.
The fact that people don't enforce the laws means that not just London...
You can't go anywhere. They're everywhere.
Practically every road in Britain is clogged with somebody who has parked inconsiderately. Well,
how can you park inconsiderately in a cul-de-sac? How can you park inconsiderately in a cul-de-sac when you're working in someone's house? How can you park inconsiderately?
I've never seen a cul-de-sac with a yellow line on it.
Well, you're going to London,
You find me one cul-de-sac that's got yellow lines and give me the address. I'll go and have a look. I'd like to see that.
What?
A cul-de-sac with yellow lines.
Right for Muse.
Yeah, apart from that one. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We've had a telephone call from Channel 4. They heard the show. They're looking for people to film who do DIY and love DIY. And here's a number, and I will repeat it in a second. It's Jonah you have to call, and it's 0171 494 1846. I'll repeat that again in a second if you're a do-it-yourself nut. This is Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. 0171 494.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.